The prison population here in Massachusetts has plummeted over the last decade. So in fact, the Commonwealth now has the lowest incarceration rate in the entire country. The drop has been so significant, Massachusetts plans to close its oldest penitentiary, MCI Concord, this summer. But what's behind the change? It's not a straightforward answer right here. But in our latest Wider Lens segment, Matt Fortin explores some of the causes and shows us how shifting attitudes toward criminal justice are really changing lives.
Antoine Ramos was sitting in a jail cell in October when his lawyer shared with him some surprising news.
And he gave me an option, either to stay in jail or to come home and take this program.
That was how Ramos was introduced to one of the state's community justice support centers, places that offer therapy, job training, drug screening, education, and more. Ramos says it's changed the course of his life.
It was a lot of inner work that I really want to be doing on myself so that I can deal with society, so that I can be in society and be a good citizen.
Focusing on rehabilitation, judges have been sending more people on probation or pretrial to these centers, which are coordinated by the Office of Community Corrections. That is one of the ways that Massachusetts has changed the way it thinks about prisons and correction. There may be no better symbol than that, though, than the upcoming closure of MCI Concord behind me. But why is the prison population declining so much? That is the question that we brought public officials and researchers, and really there's no easy answer. Instead, there seem to be a number of factors at play here, including crime prevention, treatment, and better re-entry support. The data speaks for itself. Massachusetts' average daily prison population in 2023 was 6,070. That's down from 11,034 in 2014, according to the Massachusetts Department of Correction. That is a 45% decrease.
We still have to hold people accountable, but we're holding people accountable in different ways.
Undersecretary Andrew Peck of the state's Executive Office of Public Safety and Security oversees the Department of Correction.
Those declining populations are, directly related to, a lot of the good work that's been done both, in the department and, upstream, I like to say. So a lot of changes in how how police departments, engage with their communities, and they're taking very creative and innovative strategies to become problem solvers in the community.
Corrections, he says, is a changing field, one that Peck says is more humanized, with more emphasis on finding the right kind of accountability for each individual.
My perspective, we should have the smallest correctional footprint possible. If we have to incarcerate someone, they should be the right person, So I think that's one thing that Massachusetts has gotten right, as opposed to a lot of other states. We hold people accountable, but we understand that there are different pathways to that accountability, and we don't have to incarcerate someone to hold them accountable.
For those who are incarcerated, efforts to incorporate education, substance abuse treatment, and housing aid upon release contribute to a low recidivism rate in Massachusetts, Peck says, another factor driving down prison populations.
The benefit of having the reduced population is we can actually spend and concentrate, more time and attention on people's needs. And they create, like I said, a safer, healthier environment.
A recent study from the Department of Correction showed that people were less likely to reoffend when they were provided with services like substance abuse treatment and education. Nearly 20% of people who didn't receive those services and needed them reoffended. For those who got those resources, the recidivism rate was 7.8%.
And we had one of the lowest incarceration rates in the country before 2018. After 2018, it fell even further and sharper.
And that was Matt Fortin reporting. Stay tuned for part 2 of this story in our next hour. You'll also hear from community rehabilitation experts. These programs really changing lives here in Massachusetts.